Speaker orders Crema to uphold parliamentary procedures. Masiu critical on lack of awareness in Bougainville. And discovery of stem cells and regenerative medicine to enhance health.
This is National EMTV News with Helen Sayer.
Good evening and welcome. This is Thursday's news. In Parliament today, Madang MP Orders Kramer was told not to use Parliament to order the Police Commissioner to take immediate action on a case against former MP Nixon Duban. Following yesterday's questions on presenting evidence of misconduct by former and current MPs, Mr. Kramer was ordered by the Parliament Speaker to see in person the Police Minister and Commissioner on the matter.
Parliament kicked off to a rather heated debate this morning after Madang MP Orders Kramer wanted clarification from the Police Minister on a case against former MP Nixon Duban.
Mr. Speaker, yesterday the Prime Minister stated that if I have evidence in relation to a fraud against a former member of Madang Nixon Duban, then I should take it to police, and I quote, they will rightfully arrest and charge him.
Point of order.
When a question has been asked, it cannot be asked a second time on the floor of Parliament.
His queries were immediately interrupted when Petroleum Minister Fabian Pork raised a point of order. But when Minister Pork's point of order was in order, Mr. Crema again asked the same question, which prompted Works Minister Michael Nally to come down hard on the MP with a second point of order.
This is unheard of and should not be tolerated. Because the police money stop.
Point of order. What's your point of order?
My point of order is This question is out of order.
The Madang MP's arguments were in relation to a fraud case against former MP Nixon Duban, which was raised yesterday in Parliament, to which he said he had evidence. Crema says since the matter was brought before the police, nothing has been done.
I prepared a brief in relation to the evidence that I discussed yesterday. This matter, and I wish to put the Prime Minister on note, this matter was already reported to the police. So this matter was reported to the police in 2013 and no action has been taken by police. The response I received was due to the political nature of the High Office and the fact that the former member was also the Minister of Police, that they were finding it difficult to progress this matter. Now the Prime Minister has gone on record to say that this matter should be reported to the police. That has been done.
The Parliament Speaker then ordered the MP to see in person the Police Minister and Commissioner to discuss the matter, as he said the floor of Parliament was not the appropriate place to discuss matters that were before the police. Stanley Ove Jr., National EMTV News.
The level in which broadcasting plays a critical role in the lead-up toward Bougainville's referendum was questioned in Parliament today. South Bougainville MP Timothy Masiu says as 2019 looms, broadcasting, especially radio, is important in the dissemination of public information. Moreover, the awareness on the Bougainville peace agreement, which is lacking.
Using the communication medium radio is the most convenient way to channel information because Papua New Guinea's population is challenged by its geographical setting. South Bougainville MP Timothy Masiu, in the final question time of Parliament today, said this is very important for the Autonomous Region's 2019 referendum, where lack of awareness is critical.
For me, I'm also one time by government, and we have been ABG. Long put him good radio station that and by giving good information on people of Bougainville. Government information they must go down because plenty all young plaman Mary inside of Bougainville only know work kissing good information through ABG we try and best program but plenty only no sabe yet. Me give you one example, Minister. You got some young people on one particular area inside of Bougainville. Time people talk long referendum, only ask him referendum and want him something. Question you go long all referendum and you think him want him. Only talk referendum and must try to school ya.
Majority of Bougainvillians, especially youth, still lack fair knowledge about the Bougainville peace agreement. He asked the National Communication Minister to give priority for Bougainville.
You know, you give him priority. You go along, Bougainville, not this time. long make sure this radio station where Mr. broke down all get 2 weeks or all get 3 days. By must not get broke down, by must consistent long broadcast long on people of Bougainville. This last the soul, na mi senti one lig radio station long electorate blo mi, na emo long broadcast so let me know that people power to mas long kisimol get a hap.
It was the first question to the Communications Minister, Sam Basil. Basil clarified there were 3 radio stations operating in the autonomous region of Bougainville, which are NBC Bougainville, Newton FM radio and a mobile radio plus line focused on referendum awareness.
Problem with the radio mobile place line. Why? Because the third mobile radio station, which is the place line, broadcasting license was issued to an individual, and when he left Arab administration, he took the license with him, and that mobile radio is now defunct, and there is a conflict of who owns the license. But as a minister responsible, I have directed the NICTA boss to revoke the license, and I will be negotiating with the Arab or the NBC, and we make a decision who we issue the license to.
The National Communications Minister will travel to the autonomous region and meet with the ABG because the last meeting was unsuccessful. Fabian Hakelitz, National EMTV News.
Meanwhile, in his capacity as the minister responsible, Sam Basil says the Communications Department will ensure radio services are rolled out throughout the country. Basil says he is aware of NBC's struggles, calling on all parliamentarians to work with him to improve communications.
Governors for all provinces, Yumisawasam got 22 provinces, Jiwakana Hela, and Nupla created province where Inogat station. We would like to work with the 2 governors to make sure that we put the stations in, but you must work one time because NBC got plenty money. NBC got heavy blame staff. You may have NBC staff sabe kisim pay, plenty time only kisim pay on time. Me play to negotiate now lo shift him this payroll system lo go back lo government payroll so that all he can manage him account lo make him all work lo run him station. Me mas lo talk plenty time of them. Shortwave is a way to go in Papua New Guinea. Now, you mean okay, mas na harim talk plenty all manually come on them new initiative lo grisim you me all member lo put him FM station. Now, you may all get a member staff lo yeah, you may represent him online lo boost place. Time one money come on them like paper to you may put him FM station lo yeah. You must understand no some FM station, no sabe penetrate him all mountain na bush. It goes as far as the first obstacle, second, and then we drop down. So,
Makam MP Connie Iguan has raised concerns on the number of school dropouts in the country. He told Parliament the grade 8 and 10 examinations are contributing factors and suggested for the national government to stop these exams. He says only the grade 12 exam should continue.
The Makam MP made this suggestion because he believes grade 8 and 10 certificates are unacceptable to formal employment. He says the National Education Department should consider administering only the grade 12 exams.
Inap yumi rausim displarot na ol pikinini. Only go straight lo grade 12. Goes grade 10 grade 8 certificate na grade 10 certificate no ga power more lo make you one work.
National Education Minister Nick Kuman told Parliament plans are in place to rule out exams. However, for this to happen, schools must be well equipped.
Now, by me building all institution where you got long in the country, we'll have to make sure that we have to expand in capacity to accommodate grade 1 all the way to grade 6. And we must capacity big plan must continue to go to grade 12.
He challenged every parliamentarian to provide funding support for education development in their districts and provinces.
This reform, it's going to work in such a way that there must be retention in all our school system until the students finish their education at grade 12 level. And that's the only certificate that will be recognized in this country.
The minister also announced the government will outphase elementary education and concentrate on early childhood learning and grades 1 to 12.
The structural change to our school system in the country would be 166, meaning that by Rausim Elementary School, prep the soul by staff, early childhood education by staff longa, what system Bougainville country.
Meanwhile, Wasaragawi MP Joseph Yopi Yopi raised concerns on the outstanding TFF funds.
Mr. Speaker, can the Minister confirm and agree with me and admit to the entire people of this country that this TFF policy is a total failure?
In response, Minister Kuman said the government's commitment remains. However, the country's cash flow and current economical stance was a factor for schools not receiving their funds on time, and the government will correct this before the start of the 2018 academic year.
Because of our cash situation in the country, the TFF money has not been remitted in full. But I can assure you that all the money that comes to the education system through the central bank, I make sure that those money must go to the schools. They must enter the bank so that the school can function in the country.
Stanley Ove Jr., National EMTV News.
Tawai CRC MP Kobe Bomareo has raised concerns on the board of Engau Hospital because its members' contract will expire soon. While commending the PNG and Australian governments on major infrastructure development, Bomareo asked if they are also considering setting up a provincial health authority and a new board.
Now, while waiting PHA in place, one and plan now, ministry long, initiative new board in or extending time long or waiting the process will take place. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
My team will be dispatched to your province to help you set up the provincial health authority structure. And so the nation is ready. So provincial health authority for Morobe, I'm waiting for the governor to advise me. But in the meantime, we will allow the current board whose term has expired to continue, and I will bring the submission to cabinet this week so that that board can continue in the interim, because we got a multi-million kina project supported by the Australian government and our government as well on the Engau hospital redevelopment.
National Planning Minister Richard Maru has announced the government is planning a first-of-its-kind planning summit to be staged next year. The minister said this following questions raised by Maprik MP John Simon on the distribution of wealth to districts and provinces. Minister Maru says the government is also considering a policy that will guide districts and provinces in delivering services to meet the development agenda of the government.
The Maprik MP asked if the government is considering a policy to differentiate an electorate from a district. He says for districts like Maprik, it should be given priority in terms of wealth distribution, as it is a service center for 4 districts in East and West Sepik.
My question is, Minister, do you have a policy or a proper guideline in terms of distributing the national wealth or wealth of this country, to see that it is fairly distributed to districts and electorates? Because there are some districts and some electorates. And when we are getting the same funding, it makes it very difficult for some electorates who are performing duties and responsibilities also in one district. And there's more service centers, like my district, Maprik.
Responding, Minister Maru says it has come to the attention of the government that a proper policy must be in place to see all districts and provinces follow the development agenda of the government.
Fairer to all the districts and the regions and the provinces. We'll obviously continue with all of DSIP, PSIP, but we got to do more than that. We got to start building the economies of each and every province, wherever they end out, and where their strengths are, we're going to start supporting them to build their strengths. So most of the provinces should start depending on themselves rather than depending on Waigani.
The minister says the government is planning a national planning summit where MPs will sit to discuss better ways in delivering services.
Next year in January, I'll be inviting all members of parliament, governors, to come together for a national planning summit for the first time. We are going to sit down and talk about the issues of where we have the economic hubs, key economic roads, and factor that into a national plan and fund that over the next 5 years.
Stanley Over Jr., National MTV News.
National MTV News will be back with more after the break. Don't go away. Welcome back. The discovery of stem cells and regenerative medicine is the scientific and medical breakthrough in the world today. In efforts to protect and preserve lives, health, safety and well-being of men, women and children in Papua New Guinea, Dr. Samuel Maima, a certified general practitioner, has introduced the utilization of stem cell and regenerative medicine. Through a privately funded health organization called the Medline Pacific, Dr. Maima and his team are committed to enhance a healthy, wealthy and righteous lifestyle as part of a strategy to reduce lifestyle diseases in the country. Stem cells have the ability to develop through a process called differentiation into many different types of cells such as skin cells, brain cells, lung cells, and so on. Stem cells are a key component of regenerative medicine as they open the door to new clinical applications. Dr. Samuel Maima and his team at the Medline Pacific Center of Stem Cell and Regenerative Medicine here in Port Moresby specialize in this field and say it has to do with developing completely new ways to treat and manage chronic and debilitating medical conditions such as TB, diabetes, heart failure and even bone and joint conditions.
It does not have this antigen receptor on the surface membrane. All different cells are receptive to the cell. It's just like a mother cell. It's actually like normal life. When you see your mother, you are receptive to your own mother. This is what the cells are here to receive their mother. So what it does is it goes in and fixes the problem.
The therapy of stem cell and regenerative medicine is given through form of injection in other parts of the world. However, here at the Medline Pacific Clinic, it's given in the form of a capsule and taken orally. In a press conference to market the importance of the stem cell and regenerative medicine today, MTV was invited to witness the testimonies of patients who'd been prescribed the stem cell and regenerative medicine.
I used to see pus and I was bleeding heavily and I was under stress, but when I was on this medication, I realized that all these things were gone and the pain was gone too.
Other patients like Anna Igak, who was obese and unable to walk, Florence Manihoru and Tony Tapa, who've been suffering diabetes and heart failure respectively, have all shared positive reviews of the stem cell and regenerative medicine. Regenerative medicine itself isn't new. It is the oldest form of therapy. But advances in cell biology, immunology and other fields have unlocked new opportunities to refine existing regenerative therapies and develop new ones.
In my body defensive system, vitality, strong blooming come back. My appeal to the nation, I think we can go alternative way of looking at medical conditions.
Regenerative medicine is a game-changing area of medicine with the potential to fully heal damaged tissues, offering solutions and hope for people with complicated conditions, some beyond repair. 4 police officers are claimed to have stolen cartons of beer and some amount of cash from a trade store at Crema last night. The officers were under the influence of alcohol during the incident.
The incident occurred around 10:30 last night at Crema Wildlife Port Moresby. 4 men claimed to be police officers drove into the area with a registered police vehicle. They broke into the front of the building after several attempts to open the main door.
Come back, lawyer. Now, police are talking about this outside no got beer. Beer stop. So, my plan is to put in plant beer. Also, 5 plow, 6 plow, blow, I gave me plow. I'm out him, I go inside, in one big man, one big plat, triple man. I'm crab inside, go to start like all year. Go inside now. I'm kissing 6 carton beer, 2,500 at least. Smoke ina, and by ina smoke. Okay, mobile ya tripla. Tripla, ino popla. Tripla, that's premium.
Residents and commuters ran into their homes when the officers pointed their guns. Community leader Kapti Eremago was assaulted. Eyewitnesses say the men acted like criminals and not officers of the law.
So, you know, some police come walk straight. Or come with some rascal man. People are not going to run away, go, or some no. Faram gun too. I must be gun by 3 plan about Param. All go with Parago, so it's all. This number don't give black up Sanab, Belgus levels, and best Kelly will good luck. Passing over big. The rule, Talo Polia, Talo Police, we better follow this last one.
They've called on the police hierarchy for investigation. Elijah Levet, National EMTV News.
Tran Services, providing reliable taxi services in Port Moresby, is supporting the national government's plan for all operators to operate under one company. With their 95 taxis in Port Moresby, Director Wek Kewa says this is the only way to solve public transport issues.
Taxis and bus services in Port Moresby will soon be operating under one management company. This comes after Transport Minister Wesley Nukunj announced in the media conference a week ago that plans are underway to have the country's public transport services modernized. Meanwhile, taxi and bus operators gave mixed feedback to the government's decision when EMTV interviewed them almost a week ago. But one taxi service provider, Tran Services, who agrees with the Transport Department's plan to have all public transport managed by an individual business house, says it is the only way to solve public transport issues, especially in the capital city.
Mila tuk long side blow minister, transport minister, Wesley Nukundi. Even tuk long and Mila support him tuk long. And the way me look him long and the way me got bad long and make him so, me like him this must happen. Lo city blow you mean.
Kewa says taxi and buses in Port Moresby have caused enough problems to the general public and that it is about time the new system is implemented.
Na long public me no sabe but long me as a Tran Service director me looking also good lo me koban one time tok one time stop one time RTA na one program like him lo make him long and me but make him. So when requirement then put him long and to Tran Service and ready to meet him on the requirement long RTA or minister put him on the requirement long and Tran Service and me ready long meet him requirement long.
He says with this new system, all parties will benefit greatly, and not only will it help the public transport system, but modernize and bring the transport services to meeting international standards. Not only is the Transport Department working on the management of the new public transport system, but other rules will also apply to road users, where car dealers will be charged more than what is being paid today. Road user fees will apply, increase of registration fees, and other road and traffic conditions will also be dealt with. The move to modernizing transport services in the city is also part of the country's preparations for next year's APEC summit. Godwin Eki, National EMTV News.
And now looking at our finance news, the kina closed unchanged at $0.3115 US in the interbank markets. At Bank South Pacific, your kina was buying $0.304 US, $0.3955 Australian dollars, $0.2535 euro and 33.47 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee and cocoa closed higher, while copra closed the day unchanged. Crude oil is trading lower, palm oil closed lower, while copper closed the day higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed at 64.65 points lower, the ASX closed at 0.22 points lower, and the ordinaries closed at 0.11 points lower. EMTV News continues when we return. Don't go away. Welcome back to the news. The police union has expressed dissatisfaction over comments made by certain politicians on the floor of Parliament, blaming police for the law and order situation in the country. Police union President Lowa Tambua claims this was found offensive and politicians themselves are also instigators. Tambua says the union accepts the fact there are areas of improvement and they cannot continuously be criticized.
Women.
Tambua's comments came after two governors of the Highlands provinces called for Australian police intervention due to continuous law and order issues in their provinces. Tambua says the continuous discredit to the force over the years is unacceptable and uncalled for.
We take offense mainly because you created these problems. And it has even cost lives of our policemen and women. And yet now you're telling us you're not performing.
General Secretary of the Police Union, Clemens Kanau, expressed similar concerns, stating that police personnel are hard-working servicemen and women who dedicate their lives to their work, unlike politicians who come and go.
Cherry pickers. Politicians are cherry pickers.
Cherry pickers.
They're seasonal boys. You know, they don't last in the parliament for 30 years like my policemen and women, our policemen and women. Our policemen and women are service personnel.
Tambua said if the politicians want to bring in policemen and women from Australia, then they must also recruit politicians from Australia to run the country.
Trying our best to minimize it. We're trying all our efforts, yes. We have rotten airports, legally line stuff, but it happens all over the world. So you don't have to, what really hurts is, you don't have to use the floor of Parliament. Make general comments, it's okay. Make general comments about law and order or non-family, it's okay. But to really come down and to rubbish the police force.
Stacey Yallo, National EMTV News.
Turning overseas, at last justice has been served on the Bosnian Serb commander Ratko Mladic. He was found guilty of genocide and crimes against humanity and a host of other war crimes. He was sentenced to life in prison over his role on the atrocities committed during the Bosnian War. Meanwhile, it was a caustic moment for the mothers and the relatives of victims who waited 22 years for the final court verdict.
They're gathered in Sarajevo, in Srebrenica and in The Hague. Victims of the Bosnian War who'd waited more than 22 years to see this man hear his verdict. But until the very end, the trial of the former Bosnian Serb military commander Ratko Mladic made for difficult viewing.
Mr. Mladic will be removed from the courtroom.
A little earlier, Mladic's lengthy toilet break had incensed this group of rape and concentration camp survivors in downtown Sarajevo. No one, they said, had ever allowed them a toilet break. There was anger here too when the first charge of genocide relating to 6 towns other than Srebrenica was thrown out. Among those towns, Visegrad, where Meliha Mrcic saw her family killed in 1992.
I am a second-time victim of this system and the politics of the international community. And this verdict of lifelong imprisonment means something to me, but they should have included genocide in all of the towns.
For having committed these crimes, the chamber sentences Mr. Ratko Mladic to life imprisonment.
In Srebrenica, the final verdict also felt bittersweet for some. Bida Smalovic lost more than 50 members of her extended family in the Srebrenica massacre. She last saw her husband as he tried to flee Mladic's men more than 22 years ago.
Nothing can be done to take that back, and there's no punishment that could be handed to him for him to feel something. I don't know how he could feel our pain. There's nothing, but still, it does mean some justice is done.
And for those here at the market in Sarajevo, bombed by Bosnian Serbs not once but twice during the war and part of the charges against Mladic, there was also relief. One man showed us the name of his sister who died here in the 1994 bombing that killed 68 people. He too was here that day.
I was walking. People were screaming. I saw they were dragging people without legs, without heads. A river of blood was flying. God help us. And then I remembered, where is my sister? And she died right here. Right here.
Another survivor who was back at this market today pointed out the great diversity of those who'd lost their lives on that day in 1994. They'd been Croats, he said, and Serbs and Muslims. A reminder, he pointed out, of all that had always made Sarajevo so special. And precisely, he said, what Ratko Mladic had sought to destroy.
The United Nations says it is sickened and dismayed by footage of African migrants being sold as slaves in Libya. This comes after an exclusive CNN report. The UN mission is working closely with Libya in ways to protect migrants from the human rights abuse.
We're ushered into one of two auctions happening on this same night. Crouched at the back of the yard, a floodlight obscuring much of the scene. One by one, men are brought out as the bidding begins. 400. 500. 550. 600. 650. 700. Very quickly, it's over. We ask if we can speak to the men. The auctioneer, seen here, refuses. We ask again if we can speak to them, if we can help them. No, he says. The auction's over, we're told. And we're asked to leave.
That was over very quickly. We walked in. And as soon as we walked in, the men started covering their faces. But they clearly wanted to finish what they were doing. And they kept bringing out what they kept referring to in Arabic as al-bada, the merchandise. All in all, they admitted to us that there were 12 Nigerians that were sold in front of us. And I honestly don't know what to say. That was probably one of the most unbelievable things I've ever seen.
Now, CNN was told of auctions at 9 locations throughout Libya, but many more are believed to take place each month. CNN's Robin Creel now has more on the impact of this investigation.
Images from Libya that shocked the world. An exclusive CNN investigation that revealed the ugly slave trade that's happening on Europe's doorstep. For the past year, a CNN team has worked tirelessly to shine a light on this dark practice. And the scenes they filmed inside Libya have provoked both protests and promises of action. On the streets of Paris, hundreds of demonstrators shout no to slavery, demanding the Libyan authorities investigate, which they say.
The man who will become the next president of Zimbabwe has been welcomed back by a cheering crowd in the capital of Harare. Emerson Mnangagwa has returned after 2 weeks in exile. He'll be sworn in tomorrow, replacing ousted leader Robert Mugabe.
There's a big crowd that's turned out to welcome the incoming president, Emerson Mnangagwa. We're expecting a swearing-in ceremony on Friday, but people are already looking forward to that day. They're regarding that as a very important step forward, a transition in moving on from the Mugabe era. People are also here to thank the Zimbabwean Defence Force for their role in this incredible 2 weeks of political turmoil in Zimbabwe. So people are certainly turning out to thank the army. Why have you come along today?
Because it's a solidarity day. We're celebrating the day that we have been freed from fraud and a lot of things that has been happening in Zimbabwe.
Do you think that the future will be better?
I hope so, because right now, as if we have looked for a change, I think God will help us have a change in Zimbabwe.
What sort of welcome do you think Emerson Mnangagwa will get when he arrives?
He's got something to learn from what has been happening, so he's got something that he has to do to change Zimbabwe.
Thank you. certainly a very, very important step forward for the people and also for the ruling party here in Zimbabwe.
Chukai Sports is next. Stay with us.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome to Chukai Sports. The Oil Search PNG Orchids World Cup campaign has come to an end after losing to New Zealand yesterday. The Orchids lost 38 points to 0.
An outstanding performance from the Oil Search PNG Orchids as they kept the New Zealanders at 8-0 at half-time.
She can go herself, Via McGregor. She's got the ball down. It's try time. New Zealand Ferns.
They threatened the New Zealand's defence on various occasions, crossing the line to score, but were disallowed the 4 points.
Post could come into play here. It wasn't taken cleanly by Georgia Hale, and Mima Ways claiming the try will go up. And it is officially a no try.
We're out to the 20.
This now sees PNG and Cook Island bow out of the Women's World Cup race. Both teams won many admirers for their skill and courage among the fans who attended the 3 rounds of pool games at Southern Cross Group Stadium.
Chance for them, and on the outside it comes to Martha Cole, and PNG are going to get another try.
Australia will play Canada and New Zealand will beat England in the semi-finals of the Rugby League Women's World Cup at Southern Cross Group Stadium on Sunday. The Kiwi Ferns, who have won 4 of the previous 5 Women's World Cups, finished unbeaten at the top of Pool B after wins against Canada, Cook Islands and Papua New Guinea, while world champions Jillaroos were also undefeated in the pool rounds to top Pool A after wins over Cook Islands, England and Canada.
It is Davis-Wells. The defence is coming. She got away from him. Davis-Wells is going to go all the way under the black dots. What a try, Australia. Beautiful work in the middle. Second phase. Players queuing up.
The Jillaroos crossed for a remarkable 37 tries in their 3 pool games and scored a total of 184 points while conceding just 4 points. But New Zealand were just as impressive and also conceded just 1 try while scoring 164 points.
Crystal Murray, no stopping her. Try time. That was too easy. Canada, have they got nothing left in the tank, Andrew?
Elijah Levette, National EMTV Sports.
Chukai Sports continues after these short messages. Stay with us.
Chukai Sports.
Welcome back to Chukai Sports. Lifeguards at the Tarama Aquatic Centre today received their lifeguard uniforms sponsored by Chukai Industries. Facility Manager Agaru Gas thanked Chukai Industries for their support and confirmed that all lifeguards at the pool are certified. Bodybuilding was the first sporting code to complete their competition at the 7th PNG Games in Kimbe after submitting the official report to the 7th PNG Games Sports Director John Susuve. Susuve said the sport of bodybuilding has conducted their competition professionally and set an example for the other sporting codes to follow. And that's a wrap for Chukai Sports. The weather details up next.
Chukai Sports. Chukai Sports.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Tonight's weather forecast in the NGI region only. Brief showers in Lorengau, few showers and possible thunderstorms in Kavieng, Kokopo and Ribao. Fine weather in Kimbe and showers and thunderstorms in Buka.
The weather details are proudly brought to you by Dulux Weather Shield. Worth doing with Dulux.
Before we go, winner of Vocal Fusion Season 5, Francisca Tulungenaram, is dedicating her win to her family. Francisca walks away with the brand new Toyota Hilux thanks to sponsor Ella Motors.
Francisca came into the singing competition as a meek but a clear talent. She blew the Vocal Fusion Season 5 judges away in the lay auditions, and she did not disappoint on grand final night. She maintained the hair racing performance standard today at the presentation of a brand new Toyota Hilux by grand prize sponsors Ella Motors.
This win is dedicated to my family, especially my dad. And I'm so thankful that I have a very supportive family. I can't thank them enough for their endless support. Vocal Fusion is a very good program. It has supported a lot of Papua New Guineans out there, especially those hidden talents. Papua New Guinea's hidden talents are now being exposed to the public. As for me, I can't thank Vocal Fusion enough for everything they've done. I now have grown vocally. I think I'm not going to be shy anymore.
She was handed the key of the new model of the Toyota 4x4 Hilux double cab by Ella Motors CEO Keishiro Kuwabara. This is the third time the company has sponsored the grand prize of the Singing Talent Show.
It was a great pleasure that we supported this season again as we did previously. It's enabled us to showcase the biggest selling vehicle in its class, the double cab Hilux, our latest edition, and to get so much coverage with the show was fantastic. And also I think it brought a sense of excitement to the singers as well to want to win the vehicle.
Francisca was also given a surprise today when it was announced by EMTV CEO Matthew Park that she will be performing at the World Asia Pacific TV Song Awards. The other winners included noted Mount Hagen duo Relinda and Sarah Mura on first runner-up, Kimbe's Joe Dow took second runner-up, and Port Moresby Edition's Anna Tupo Morove landed a third runner-up spot. The next season for the Vocal Talent Show is said to be in the pipeline for a bigger and better array of talent. Harry Gimbari, National EMTV News.
And that's the news for Thursday, November 23rd, 2017. Pleasant viewing. Good night.